What's up, friends? I'm Jonathan Miller, and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. Taylor Swift recently announced her highly anticipated 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, much to the chagrin of male sports fans and to the excitement of everyone else across the globe. Today, I'm going to share my predictions about the album, and after it's been out for a while, we'll come back and see how much I got right or wrong. So hit the like button, subscribe if you're new for more Taylor content in the future, and tell me in the comments all of your Showgirl predictions as well. The first and probably most expected prediction I have for The Life of a Showgirl is that it will become one of Taylor's best-selling albums. Max Martin, Shellback, and Taylor coming back together is like the Avengers of guaranteed pop hits, and with Showgirl being a pop record, I imagine it's going to sell a lot of records. Dominating the Billboard and Spotify charts, I definitely expect multiple variants of this album. While I know variants are kind of controversial, it is sort of the standard nowadays, and collectors like me love them. If you don't like them, you don't have to buy them. So really, for me, I'm not even worried about its chart performance, virality, awards, and the like. Taylor would not have stressed on New Heights that this album is perfect as is if she didn't mean it. Also, we've been seeing a rise in the public's demand for recession pop. People want that infectious escapism in music, and I'm confident Taylor is here to deliver it in the nick of time. Travis Kelce said we'd be dancing start to finish when listening to this album because it's non-stop bangers. So that tells me he wasn't just hyping up our favorite girl, but that the music is probably going to resonate with people so that they stream it over and over and over again, guaranteeing this record's success. And you can be successful in your music career with DistroKid. DistroKid is one of the best online music distributors on the market, helping artists like you and me get our music up on streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, and more. When I dropped my latest single, The Story I've Waited to Tell, DistroKid was able to provide all the tools I needed to get my song out there, and they can do the same for you. For one small yearly price, you can distribute as much music as you can create, and depending on which plan you decide is right for you, you'll also gain access to a wide range of additional features that are super cool. DistroKid's always at the forefront of the independent music game, which is why they have an app for iOS and Android. In the app, you can do a whole bunch of cool things like withdrawing the money you've earned. You can check out your streaming stats and download your cover song licenses. You can also distribute your next music release right from within the app. The uploader works just like it does on desktop, making music distribution on the go even easier. So use my special VIP link to save yourself 7% on your first year's membership with DistroKid. Link is in the description. Before we get into the content of this album, I want to make a few predictions about its visual components. This album is about everything that Taylor experienced behind the scenes on the Eras Tour, recorded when she was on the European leg. And already we've seen this album play into the 1920s glitz and glam of a showgirl in the album's artwork, theme, promotions, fonts, logos, etc. The Eras Tour specifically is embedded into this album's rollout, beyond the Easter eggs that we're continuously putting together. I mean, Showgirl's rollout so far basically started with the Eras Tour archive being updated, as I documented in my week 1 compilation of TS12. Basically what I'm getting at here is they don't want us to forget the Eras Tour with this album. They know we want a documentary. They know we saw them film the final 3 shows in Vancouver. Taylor and her team are fully aware that we have been craving more evergreen visuals from this tour to hold on to its legacy. So I do think she's going to deliver that in some way. Because now with The Life of a Showgirl, we're essentially getting the Eras Tour's original soundtrack. So will this be a behind the scenes documentary, a visual album, multiple music videos that use bits and pieces from the Eras Tour? Will she lay Easter eggs that tell us to look back at very specific certain tour stops that help piece together a larger message for this era, as well as probably teasing TS13? All of that I think is possible. Travis and Taylor specifically called attention to the Gelsenkirchen shows in Germany. And wouldn't you know, that's where the screens glitched green while she was wearing the orange outfit. And look at the album cover of The Life of a Showgirl. What if I told you none of it was accidental? It's also where she debuted the all-purple combo for 1989, matching the shiny bug variant of The Life of a Showgirl. The violet lock we got. Elizabeth Taylor famously had violet eyes. And oh, look, there's a song called Elizabeth Taylor on this album. So an Eras Tour themed visual I think is still highly likely. Now here are my track by track predictions. The Fate of Ophelia is going to be the introduction to this album's story, which for a quote, focused, wild, effervescent album, I'm gonna guess that this song is a bop that has lyrics that hit. Ophelia is a character in Hamlet who drowns and is often considered an insignificant character, but in reality holds a lot of symbolism. But Taylor likes to put twists on common phrases and stories, so I'm gonna guess that this song is either about avoiding Ophelia's fate, or maybe it's like a metaphor that something within her died while on tour. But regardless, I bet it's gonna be hooky. There's also probably going to be some reference in it that makes our jaws collectively drop, but I guess we'll find out. Elizabeth Taylor is where I think we're gonna see the word violet found in the description of one of the deluxe CDs. Elizabeth Taylor was a showgirl, and I imagine this is somehow gonna be a feminist anthem with strong story-based lyrics like Clarabelle. Opalite is man-made glass, which is reminiscent of the album cover, being designed with shards of glass across water. So again, I'm guessing bop, especially since on pop albums, your first 3 to 4 songs need to be really hooky. I don't know if it'll be as high octane as Elizabeth Taylor or maybe the Fate of Ophelia. Maybe Opalite will fill the style role of this album, meaning that it dips in beats per minute but is still really catchy. Who knows? Maybe it'll go on to be a fan favorite. Given the photo shoot that we've seen so far of this album, I would love to have some more Taylor style sensual songs, one of them being Father Figure. As a pop songwriter, I can already hear my brain clicking away at different metaphors and double entendres that she could use in a song like this, and I would love to hear Taylor play with that. I mean, we all want Taylor to show more songs potentially about Travis, right? Well, I'll just leave it at that. Eldest Daughter, I don't think will be a ballad, but I do believe it will have some emotional depth that adds significantly to the overarching story of the life of a showgirl. Taylor said that this album combines infectious melodies with folklore-style stories, and given that this song is a track 5, I imagine it's going to fit that role nicely. She wouldn't have put it as a track 5 if she didn't really think about it. All You Had to Do Was Stay is often ranked as one of Taylor's worst track 5s because fans tend to think that Taylor Swift's track 5s are supposed to be heart-wrenching ballads because they have been so in the past. But that's not always the case. Stay's message is simple and clear. If you didn't walk away from our relationship, neither one of us would be having these consequences. In the context of 1989, that song offers insight into Taylor's longing to stay with somebody that she liked, but also represents a turning point when she recognizes the value of independence, which is often lost in the pop shimmer of Shellback's signature hi-hats and Max's expertly crafted, catchy harmony stacking in the chorus. I imagine that Eldest Daughter will probably fit a similar role on this album. It'll be very catchy, but it will have a much stronger and deeper story than All You Had to Do Was Stay did, which would make sense because this is Taylor 10 more years advanced in her songwriting. Ruin the Friendship. Please be spicy. I think Actually Romantic could go one of two ways. Either it's going to be something to the effect of being taken aback by somebody who's doing things that are surprisingly romantic and sweet, or it might go a more sarcastic route and say something like, you could be this cruel person, or you could be actually romantic, like in that sort of more aggressive, irritated tone. But she did say that this album is happier, so in my opinion, it's less likely to be the latter. But even happy albums have their darker points too. So who knows? Wishlist, based purely on how it is stylized, looks like it's gonna be a fun song. I can already hear Taylor Nation troll tweeting us with something around the holidays, with something like, show us what's on your wish list, and then we get a holiday merch drop. You know one's gonna come in November. The dollar signs give me OG Kesha vibes, so please let this be a bop. It looks like it's gonna be fun. Wood. Well, I know what I want it to be about. Cancelled intrigues me for quite a few reasons, because immediately her cancellation in 2016 or the Vienna shows come to mind. But remember, Taylor also likes to twist things and write about what you might not expect. So it is very likely it could be about neither of those things. But given that this album is about her life on the Eras Tour, I think Vienna is the more likely of those two. But I think we also need to prepare ourselves that in true Taylor fashion, it may not be about any of those things at all. Maybe it's about the pushback she received for having to cancel those shows. Because even though she had to do what she had to do to keep people safe, a lot of people were still not happy with her for that. Travis said this song is a banger, so I don't expect a ballad. Maybe she was inspired by how Vienna responded to the cancellation. Maybe she made a party anthem for all of you. Or again, it's something else entirely that we're not thinking of. I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna guess that Honey is the sweet nothing of The Life of a Showgirl. Just as intimate, but probably more upbeat than Sweet Nothing. I'm sure The Life of a Showgirl will have slower moments, but I still think the energy is gonna be relatively high to simulate the energy it took to perform the Eras tour and the electricity of it all. So Honey will probably be sweet, but also probably a bop. Unless it's the most freaked out one of all of them, we'll find out. The Life of a Showgirl title track is where I think we're gonna hear the lyrics, sweat and vanilla, it's rapturous, it's beautiful, it's frightening. I think Taylor and Sabrina are both gonna have their own verses, and this may be one of the most energetic tracks on the album. I just don't think she's gonna close this record with a ballad. The title track being at the end of the record means it also doubles as the album closer, meaning it's going to close out and showcase exactly what Taylor felt like on tour and all of the tracks that precede it. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is probably a female empowerment bop, which I'm sure will serve as a fantastical, exciting, climactic end to the whole album. I'm hoping there will be multiple singles, and if there are, I think at least one of those singles is going to be one of the first 3 songs. So either The Fate of Ophelia, Elizabeth Taylor, or Opalite. But what predictions do you have for The Life of a Showgirl? Tell me all of your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe so you don't miss my follow-up to this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.